Welcome back to the channel. I'm George Hardwick, 13-3 professional MMA fighter, full-time coach and full-time curry sauce enthusiast, and today we'll be breaking down some sparring here between the man on the left, Murat Grigorian, a former Glory kickboxing champion, hell of a kickboxer, and one bantamweight champion, Fabricio Andrade, and they're having a Thai spar. You'll notice they're both upright, and that helps them defend kicks like that, the head kick. If they're dipping from side to side a lot, they are more likely to get hit with that head kick, which is why we see kickboxers so upright. And they're using a good mix of straight punches here to get through that classic kickboxing guard. Two hands high, they're going that left straight, that right straight into the solar plex, and there's a jab to low kick. We see Murat Grigorian pull his left leg back. Murat Grigorian, he's not really a southpaw, but he is comfortable fighting there. And because he's pulled his leg back into southpaw, because he's comfortable southpaw, he can just hang in southpaw, have a few exchanges, and switch back when it's safe, rather than having to rush to get back to orthodox after he's retracted the leg. Using his left straight and a little roll. He actually uses a little bit more head movement in southpaw than he does in orthodox, maybe because he's drilled into keeping this high guard to defend the kicks, and then when he's southpaw he might feel a little bit less balanced, so he'd be more inclined to move his head out of those situations. Inside low kick from Andrade, and Andrade is tapping away with the jab, and we don't really see any hand fighting whatsoever from Murat Grigorian. He uses that right jab into kick to the back leg. As he jabs, he loads up his own leg to kick, and likely when you take that jab, your weight's going to shift back, weight's going to go down onto this heel, weight's going to be stuck on that leg, so he can bang the low kick in without fear of getting checked, at least fear of getting checked by the leg he's kicking. Touching away here, look at this setup here, they've got a rope across the middle of the ring. I don't think that really helps. I think people are, at this level, are aware of their space, and you've just got someone that's going to twang and not give much support like here. See how Murat Grigorian used a left hook into frame there, and there's a cheeky shot from Andrade, so we're going to see Murat Grigorian throw a little bit harder. There's that back leg kick again, and then he uses that left straight to the body. He corrals him into the corner, hits a left hook to the body, and there was a nice little frame after. See if we can isolate this. Murat Grigorian gets him into the corner, lands this left hook to the body, and then uses his left hand as a frame. Kind of gets his foot caught in the ropes there. But sometimes that's a good option after body hooks, after head hooks, is just to frame rather than race their right hand back to your chin. We're seeing a lot of this open stance dynamic. Again, a lot of kickboxing stylists, you see it a lot in boxing, you see it loads in MMA with the MMA gloves, and you see it a fair amount in Muay Thai. You see those lead hands meeting each other to fight, whereas someone like Grigorian still likes to just keep that cap on, that kind of lunchboxes his head, which means he can be open for those shots down the middle. A lot of straight shots from Andrade. A lot of mixing of tempos. There's not a lot of movement, obviously. Not much space. Plus, it's incredibly hot in Thailand, and it probably makes your legs feel a bit dead. You know, if you've ever cut weight in a hot bath, your legs feel dead afterwards. So you're probably not going to be moving around a lot. There's that right knee into right cross. There's a lot of like classic Nick Hemmers, Rob Kamen type stuff where they're throwing they throw the knee and then punch with the same side. Boom, boom, there. You see a lot of that in that lineage. Rob Kamen would do that a lot, pick the knee up and then just drop the right hand in. There we see a right low kick into the back leg. Murat Grigorian, he doesn't always like slam his low kick in the classical way of snapping it. He drags it through the target. Legs a bit straight, he drags it through the target. Sometimes they can be the worst impact. See there, he drags it through the target. He doesn't try and throw it with the biggest snap, not whippy like a Kyokushin karate fighter. Boom, drags it through the target. So it's still traveling whilst it hits the meat of that back quad, back thigh. It's traveling through the target, so it displaces his opponent more, and it's harder for them to counter. I'll just say traveling through the target again until it means nothing to you, like when words become meaningless because they've been said so much. There's Andrade. More of an MMA habit that you're leaning back at the waist. You don't really see many kickboxers, conventional kickboxers, lean back at the waist ever. And he's going to lose his balances, Andrade. He's going to lean back at the waist after this right straight from Grigorian. Boom. Grigorian notices that he's leaning back and then kicks that back leg. If you're leaning back, there's absolutely no way you're going to be taking that weight off the leg to check. See, Andrade fires back. Grigorian obviously a lot more conditioned, a lot more stable, but Andrade is trying to kind of snap it in, whereas Grigorian drags his knee past the target and it kind of chops through both legs. Boom, left straight into the body. Obviously a good shout if someone's got a high guard in your opposite stance. And there's that right cross to the body into left hook. Let's see if we can isolate that just a little bit more. As Grigorian throws that right straight to the body, naturally Andrade is going to circle out to his right. Hit him with the right straight, so he lines it up with the lead hand. As he lines it up, the elbow position still slightly out. he tries to meet him with his own lead hand, and then that's going to make space for that right cross to slip through into the body. As he does, naturally, that's going to move your opponent away. If you hit someone with a right hand, they're going to move to their right or your left, and that's going to make this space for the left hook to come over the top. Really good against opposite stances. If you watch a lot of Rob Kamen, he'd switch southpaw really to land that right hook, and he's going to go over the top with that left hook. Boom. Nice and solid. Overhand there. See, the overhand, it can be a tricky one against southpaws, but you can use it in that inside foot position, like Jacare Souza did to Yushin Okami. Firing back, the spar's heating up a little bit. And again, I'm not quite sure of this setup here, with the rope round in the middle. I feel like if you've got experienced fighters, even if you've got 4 or 5 pairs in there, the Thai sparring not moving around too much, you could probably just trust them to move around. You know, they might end up in one corner, end up in the other. I'm talking over some really good stuff. We're talking about the Rob Kamen, Nick Hemmers lineage. Luckily, got it at the right moment. Grigorian, he starts picking this left knee up to land his lead left hook. Rob Kamen has a lot of knockouts like that, but he normally picks his right knee up. So what the advantage of this is, even in opposite stances, sometimes it can be hard to get the desired foot position, whether it's foot inside or foot outside. It can be very hard to get that just through small steps and movement. But with that knee fake, especially if you've landed a few left kicks, you can just pick that up and drop it generally wherever you want, whether it's outside or inside, and he levers in to get a more powerful left hook from that. Bang! He hits against the guard, but it kind of skims through. And there, right straight to the head, left hook to the body, overhand again whilst he's got inside foot position, and a little left low kick. You know, the left low kick against the opposite stance, the left low kick against the southpaw, it's very useful. Doesn't have a lot of power, and if you kick into the quad on that, it can ride up. Really good example we saw recently was Masaki Noiri using that outside calf kick, just kind of flicking it up, but he was breaking down Tawanchai with that. You know, if you're kicking against the calf, you're probably going to have to balance him about a lot more, even though it doesn't have the full power of a rear leg calf kick. Now we see a little right kick to the body, blocked by Andrade, and then he readjusts his shin pads, probably slipping all over. Probably one of those sessions where you take the shin pads off, and on the inside of your shin pads, it's all white from salt. Depending on your diet, if you're eating a lot of Chinese and spice bags, there's going to be a lot of salt on the inside of those. Anyway, I've been George Hardwick. Check out the Patreon, subscribe if you want more breakdown content. Let me know who you want me to commentate over. Maybe that sentence didn't make sense. I'm pretty sure it did. Have a good day.